Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. As always, hope you had an amazing weekend. Shout out to the 19. So, folks, WNBA finally had their first big hurdle into anything happening in the offseason, and that was Golden State Vaklyries had their expansion draft on Friday. Did a video on that. Hope you watched that and enjoyed it and got something out of it. I talked a little bit about what was the biggest surprise in the draft for most of us, and that was Temi Fagbenle of the Indiana Fever being selected by Golden State, no longer being a Fever player for next season. And we had a lot of people crashing out. I won't go through them all, but on Twitter, right? Stuff like this. Are you serious right now? Why didn't we protect Temi? I'm going to bawl my eyes out. What the hell, Fever? And there were a bunch. I won't play them all. This one should be ashamed of themselves separating a mother and her child. 100%. I get it. And then I'll play one more just because this one's funny. And shout out to Stavros because I know longtime supporter of this channel. Does a lot of funny stuff. If you like following the WNBA, the Fever, and get a little bit of humor as well, go follow Stavros on X. Fever rising fans being dragged into the reality that Temi is gone. 100%. That's what it felt like. Yeah, there was a lot of wild going on. But so I wanted to hopefully take a different perspective, kind of try and take the emotion out of all of this and just talk about what this means for the Fever, the good and bad of it going forward. Because one of the important things I think to understand is that with a generational player like Caitlin Clark coming into the league now, and the Indiana Fever figured this out. Now you've had a rookie season, right? Okay, she's not going to be a bust, right? This is not Sam Bowie being drafted ahead of Michael Jordan. This is not Ryan Leaf being drafted. And many people at the time thinking it's, Ryan Leaf or Peyton Manning, folks. Ryan Leaf or Peyton Manning. Yeah, that was a tough decision, wasn't it? So you've got Caitlin Clark, who solidified herself already. I mean, first team All WNBA in her rookie season, fourth in MVP voting. I think she probably could have been second or third. You could make a case for hers first, but that's another video. But the Fever figured that out. They embraced it. They've got new coach, new front office, right? We've got Stephanie Amber and Kelly in charge now. Changes are going to be made. Unfortunately, one of the big issues that we have is Lynn Dunn crushed this team with ridiculous roster selections and ridiculous personnel decisions and mostly ridiculous contracts. Hiring Christy Sides was terrible. Who brought Christy Wallace to the team, of course, which was absolutely terrible. Cutting Celeste Taylor was absolutely terrible. But these contracts, man, you know, Erica Wheeler. Now she's an unrestricted free agent, but you can't bring Erica Wheeler back now, folks. They need that money. They need that money to upgrade. Okay. Unfortunately, look, I love Erica Wheeler. I was hard on her early in the season just from what I saw on the court. But as I watched her more and more and watched her dynamic with Caitlin Clark and who she was, fantastic. I love the way she supported the rookie coming in who was taking her position, right? So she's great in that respect. But just from the business side of it and where the Fever want to go and the contract that Erica Wheeler had, and especially you add on to that now, we've got Katie Lou Samuelson on the hook for 180 freaking $1,000 for Katie Lou. Nothing against Katie Lou, but that's a ridiculous contract. And that is, why would Golden State? They want as much flexibility. They're an expansion team. They want to be able to make moves. They want to be able to make trades and maybe sign free agents. They're not going to saddle themselves with a $180,000 contract. Yeah, people will say, yeah, well, because of the expansion team, they could cut her and then they're not on the hook. True. But why would you be like, well, we'll take Katie Lou and then we'll just cut her if we want to do these other things when you could just say, well, why don't we just take Temi Fagbenle, who's cheaper, and we know what kind of player she is, and we know she's going to be important as a player to the team. So, look, this is a championship or bust team, and I don't mean they have to win a championship. Yes, this year, that's a big jump, but that is the goal. That's the mentality now. That's why we have a new coach and new people in the front office. because now it's not about improving. It's not about getting to the playoffs. It's not about, winning one round. It's about winning a championship. And I can tell you as a Philly fan, Philly as in the city, the Phillies and the Eagles, that's where they are, both their fan bases and thankfully their front offices. It's like, we are here to win titles right now. That is the goal. We're not building for some muddy or foggy future that we can't see in 5 or 10 years. It is win now, and the moves that we're going to make are about winning now. And look, the Sixers, we've written them off in Philly. They've been giving us this trust the process crap for 2 decades, and we have nothing to show for it. So we don't even consider them a professional team in Philadelphia anymore. That they should move themselves down to the G League. Bleep the Sixers. But seriously though, the Eagles don't win a Super Bowl this year. That is a disappointment. It's not playoffs, it's not division title, it's Super Bowl win. And Nick Sirianni, despite one of the greatest starts to an Eagles coach ever, he may very well get fired if the Eagles don't win a Super Bowl, despite all the success, despite going to a Super Bowl 2 years ago, despite winning 10 games in 3 seasons in a row, or is it 4? But no Eagles coach has ever done that. But the mentality of the organization and its fan base in the situation they're in is win now. And that is now, I don't think the WNBA has ever seen this before. That is the fever now. That is probably the first team in the WNBA that is a team of, yeah, that is us. We are here to win. Okay. And a lot of people are panicking about this is a step back and what are they going to do? Look, we had to go through the expansion draft first. Now they can get into looking to make trades. Free agency, you can't even talk to players until I think 21st or 22nd of January, and you can't sign any until February 1st. So that is still a ways away. So don't worry, Fever fans. Moves are going to be made and changes will be seen with this roster. And you can look at it now and be like, oh, I mean, look, the Eagles had one of the biggest collapses ever last season. It really hurt my heart. Let me tell you, they started out 10-1 through most of that season. Every time I step out and I'd be out in public and I'd have my Eagles jersey on, people were so nice. Go Eagles, go Birds, all that all the time. And then there was a loss and a loss and another loss and another loss. Man, people were not shouting me out and saying go Birds anymore after that. Uh, So change can happen. But my point being, after that absolute collapse and they're in disarray and all that, well, look, now they have one of the best defenses in the NFL. And the keys to that defense, guys like Vaughn at linebacker, Iowa grad and rookie, Cooper DeJean, Kenyon Mitchell, they weren't even on this team last year. They weren't on the roster. And Jalen Carter, who was, and he was a rookie, but he was so highly touted that a lot of people were saying, oh, this guy's a bust after just his rookie year. And right now, he's playing like one of the best players in the league at his position, leading an incredible defense. So don't panic about what's going to happen. Look, sometimes development takes time, right? Vaughn at linebacker, this guy in his 5th year who really wasn't anything special in the first 4. Sometimes it's a change of scenery as well. So sometimes harsh decisions like letting a player like Temi Fagbenle go are what's actually best for the team's goal of a championship, despite feeling like a big step back in the moment. And I think that is a big part of it. Is Temi Fagbenle is a fan favorite, both in terms of who Temi is, but also in how she handled the situation with Caitlin Clark. She was really, from what we saw, the first player on the Fever to embrace her, to like her, to embrace her both on the court and off the court. As we all know, Caitlin Clark came into the WNBA and got hate from all the players, got dirty plays, got targeted all the time. Other coaches were talking hateful about her. The commissioner was not on her side. The sports media couldn't stand her. Her own team, it looked like, didn't want her there and definitely had no idea how to play with her, except for Temi Fagbenle. She was the princess. She was the oasis for Caitlin Clark amidst all this absolute nonsense. And this is early in the season. I actually did a video about this because it was so cool with everything that was going on. So I just want to play this clip for you. It's under a minute, but this is Temi Fagbenle early in the season talking about playing with Caitlin Clark.
And I'm always sprinting on the floor, and she's a great passer, so she's always going past it if I'm open. I know that. No, it's really amazing because we haven't had many practices together, but the connection is just there. I feel like I know, I'm getting a better sense of what she's about and what she's gonna do, and so I just try and get into the right positions and try and make something work. Yeah.
Does she yell your name, or do you just know it's coming?
I just know it's coming. She's one of them. I've only had a few of those kind of point guards who you just know sees the play before it's happened. So I'm going, I know I'm open. I'm like, oh, nah, regular point guards. I'm like, they didn't see it. But Caitlin saw that, she saw that before I was open, and then I am surprised. I'm like, damn, I'm sorry I missed it. Okay, I got you. I know what you're about. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
So that right there, really, I think that one clip kind of sums it up. I mean, you just get the vibe, first of all, that Temi Fagbenle is just a really, really nice, likable. Her basketball IQ is off the charts. Just listening to how she is talking about Caitlin Clark and what that means in terms of what Temi Fagbenle can do on the court as a player. We talk about Caitlin Clark's basketball IQ all the time. Obviously, Temi is one of those as well. Wouldn't surprise me someday if she ends up coaching. But see, that you have her embrace, complete embrace. And actually, she seems thrilled with how Caitlin Clark plays. And we saw that early in the season before Temi got hurt. Really the only player that understood Caitlin Clark. So we had that as Fever fans and loved that because the rest of the team didn't get it. We know that she embraced her as a person too, that she liked Caitlin Clark with everything else that I just said. That's a huge thing. And so I think a lot of this is very emotional for Caitlin Clark fans because Temi Fagbenle was probably the first other player in the league that Caitlin Clark fans absolutely embrace, and they were never disappointed throughout the season by Temi Fagbenle, and they love that, and they wanted to see that come back, which I completely understand. But again, unfortunately, the reality of sports is sometimes in order for teams to take a jump to where they want to be, they have to get rid of players that were important, players that were good, players that are fan favorites, because they just can't fit all the puzzle pieces together to make it work to go get a championship unless they make those changes, right? And we had Temi, and don't forget, she's 32. She only played in 22 games last year. She played 19 minutes a game, 6.5 points, a little over 4.5 rebounds. And yeah, she was really, really important. She didn't play like herself after, I think, the second time she came back. Now, again, I think it was because part of it was probably because she missed so much time. So there was a conditioning aspect, a being rusty aspect. Also, then trying to fit in to what the team had evolved to as other players were starting to learn how to play with Caitlin Clark as well. So, I mean, I expect Temi Fagbenle to be important in Golden State. But I think given everything we've seen, we've got the ridiculous Lynn Dunn contracts. We've got just the expansion draft in and of itself. We've got the fact that, Temi is I'm sorry, not unrestricted, a restricted free agent. So if the Fever were going to keep her, most likely her salary was going to be more. Just real quick, the basic overall look of restricted free agents, if Temi gets an offer elsewhere, the Fever could match it. We all know what Temi brings to a team. She was going to get an offer elsewhere, which means the Fever probably couldn't afford to keep her anyway with everything else they're looking to try and do as a team, because you're also, again, getting into the free agency. So you've got, like, up above here, right? Satou Sabali. Everyone keeps talking about how good she would fit in with the Fever. Yeah, exactly. But they've got to pay her, right? Again, another example why can't bring back Erica Wheeler. Another example of why the Katie Lou contract is like concrete attached to the feet of a mobster. You just It hurts. It really, really hurts. And so they've got to be very careful at other things they do. And they may very well look at, well, Victoria Saxton and what she possibly brings. And I know a lot of people dismiss her because unfortunately had a horrifically bad, inept, incompetent, terrible, no good at all coach in Christy Sides, who didn't even play her. But we need to see what she can do because maybe Stephanie White and the front office is saying, you know what? Contract difference, what everything Temi brought and her age and injuries. Let's see what Saxton can do at a cheaper price, which allows us to say go sign Satu Sabali, and overall we make the team better. And that's just some of the things that you have to do in order to take that step, because we're talking about big step. Again, this is now a team that's looking at championships as the measuring stick. Now we're talking rings. We're not talking 500 or better. We're not talking playoffs, folks. We're talking rings. Yes. And look, another example you could do, look, we don't even know if Kelsey Mitchell wants to come back. I'm not saying she doesn't. I don't even get those vibes from her. But behind the scenes, let's say for whatever reason it may be, Kelsey Mitchell wants out of Indiana, but they court her. So now it may be, look, okay, they talked to Kelsey. They've come to the conclusion that it's not going to work. We'll court you, and then we'll try and trade you. Kelsey Plum's an unrestricted free agent, folks. Shooting guard. Maybe she wants out of Las Vegas. So the deal becomes sign and trade. Las Vegas, Kelsey Plum, like, okay, I'm going to sign with the Aces under the agreement that then they trade me to Indiana for Kelsey Mitchell. Look, I don't even know if that's in the realm of possibility in terms of either team or the players even talking about it. I'm just putting that out there that it is an option if Kelsey Mitchell doesn't want to come back to Indiana, and the type of thing that you might see. You can see a lot of changes going forward, and there are a lot of unrestricted free agents as well. I mean, we go down just a little bit, just as an example. How about Breanna Stewart? Breanna Stewart's an unrestricted free agent. Think she'd come play? Think she'd leave the defending champion New York Liberty to play in Indiana? She might. That Liberty team is, I don't know that they're currently built to win lots and lots of championships going forward, but who knows? Hey, how about this? Talk about sign and trade. Maybe Brianna's decided, you know what? I want out of New York. Hey, maybe she wants to go to Vegas. We don't know. But could be another sign and trade, right? I think the Fever are trying to get rid of Melissa Smith. I don't know that they can, or at least get what they want. That's another big deal. They need to get what they want. I don't know if they'll be able to do that because of Melissa Smith's attitude, but she is a talented player. Her numbers last year, rebounds and points, were better than Aaliyah Boston's All-Star season this year. 2 years ago, she was number 3 in the Rookie of the Year voting. So don't get it twisted. A lot of people say, "Oh, Melissa Smith's not very good." She's very good. What destroyed her season was her head. What destroyed her season was her attitude and her pouting and things not going her way. And so she let that affect her play, which of course devalues her because everyone in the league knows what's going on in Indiana. So how about this? If Breanna Stewart wants out of New York, another sign and trade. New York signs Breanna Stewart, trades her to Indiana for Melissa Smith. Who knows, right? I could do this all day. I don't want to bore you. It's starting to get kind of long, but what I'm saying is you're going to see moves, folks. Don't think that this just destroyed what the Indiana Fever are doing for this coming season. The goal is a championship. Make no mistake about it. They're going to make the moves that they think help the team, that want to. They're brand new. Let's see how it happens. If it's terrible, we'll talk about it. No one wanted to lose Temi Fagbenle. But hopefully, I'm going to get two things out of this. People who completely missed everything I said and they're telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about and that I hate Temi Fagbenle. And then hopefully I'll get some people who maybe were on the ledge when they saw Temi get selected, and now they're like, okay, look, I like her and I don't want her to go. But in terms of the team, I get that this may not be a disaster. Well, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for checking out this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's just a little tap or click that really, really helps out tremendously, and I do appreciate it. And I will talk to you later.